Minecraft has loads of consistency issues. For example, this is the glistering melon. And if you don't know, this is used in brewing to create health potions. And is crafted with 8 golden nuggets, as well as 1 melon slice. This is very similar to a carrot and 8 golden nuggets to create a golden carrot, which is also used in brewing, as well as an apple and 8 gold ingots to create a golden apple. Now, with a golden carrot, you can obviously eat it. It's one of the best food sources in the game. Also, horses seem very interested in it. Same with the golden apple, you can eat it, and you'll actually get some regeneration and absorption. However, you cannot eat the glistering melon, even though it is made from a similar food source to the carrot and the apple. Another issue is the fact that it's not called like a golden melon slice or something, it's called glistering, which is completely different to a golden carrot, which is made in the exact same way. But if you could actually eat the glistering melon slice, what would it even do? Well, my idea was to give you quite a bit of saturation similar to a golden carrot. However, maybe make it instantly heal 1 or 2 hearts as well. That way it can become quite a useful food source, 1 for the saturation, and if you're low on a couple hearts, just eat this 1 slice and it instantly heals you, like an instant health potion does. But that's not the only consistency problem Minecraft has. For example, I can head over to the crafting table with oak planks and create myself some stairs. Now I'm using 6 planks for these, so I get 4 stairs. But is that a fair deal? Well, let's take a look at it. These are the 4 stairs obviously, and then we'll place down the 6 planks required. As you can see, it makes no sense. As a stair has a removed quarter of an oak plank, meaning surely we should get more stairs per craft. As right now, every time you head into the crafting table to use your planks to turn into stairs, you're wasting so many materials. Now, to be honest, this only really affects wooden items, as Minecraft introduced the stone cutter into the game over 7 years ago. Yeah, I know. And once you head inside, you can place any type of stone material to create yourself some stairs. But it's a 1-on-1 conversion this time, rather than 6 for 4. So, I'll put a stack of stone into the stone cutter and craft myself 1 stack of stone stairs. Now, if I grab myself out some planks, you can see that it does not work in the stone cutter. Now, that's very obvious, as this is a stone cutter, used for cutting stone. It's not a wood cutter or a sawmill or anything like that, which is an item I desperately think we need in Minecraft, as right now, crafting wooden materials is really unfair. Which sort of links back to what I mentioned in a previous video with the doors and the trapdoor crafting. You need 6 planks for both, but you only get 3 doors, and you only get 2 trapdoors. And that's why I feel like a woodcutter would be a great item to see in Minecraft. But before I continue, this video is not aimed to criticize Mojang. Don't be commenting Mojang is lazy or whatever, just because these inconsistencies exist. Likely, they've just been forgotten about, and that's okay. This video is being made to showcase features in Minecraft that deserve to be changed. Another issue that Minecraft has is, once again, if I open up a crafting table with some planks, you can see 1 plank equals 1 button, which honestly, that just makes no sense at all. This giant 16 by 16 block makes this. Like, that just makes no sense. Surely we should be able to make at least 4 or maybe even 8 buttons. Same with a pressure plate. You need 2 wooden planks to create 1 pressure plate. So, how would I solve these problems? Well, first of all, I think it only makes sense that 1 wooden plank creates 4 or 8 buttons. I think that way it's a bit more fair, as otherwise you're spending 1 entire wood plank to get 1 silly button, where in reality you should be getting a lot more as they are so small. And for pressure plate, I'd honestly change it to 2 or 4 depending on how many buttons we got. For example, if we were to get 8 buttons, I'd change it to 4 pressure plates. However, if we were only to get 4 buttons, I'd change it to 2 pressure plates. Before I move on to any more inconsistencies, make sure to subscribe, as I'm planting 5 carrots inside of my Minecraft world for every brand new subscriber. Now for a quick question. What do all of these have in common? Well, an oak sapling can grow into a tree. A spruce sapling can also grow into a tree. Pale oak saplings can also grow into a tree, as can a cherry sapling, as does a mangrove propagule, as well as both of the azalea plants. They can both turn into trees as well. However, these 2 in particular have an inconsistency with the rest of the trees in Minecraft. For example, I grow a spruce tree, and as you can see, it generates spruce logs. I grow a pale oak tree, and as you can see, it generates pale oak logs. However, if I bone meal a flowering azalea, it creates an azalea tree with oak logs instead. Now, this has been a problem in Minecraft since 1.17, and the question still remains, why don't we have azalea wood in the game? It feels like it makes so much sense, as it is its own unique type of tree. Obviously, it's got its own leaf variant, it's even got its own sapling variants. So why doesn't it get its own log variant? It can spawn naturally in Minecraft, in like dark oak forests and desert biome, so it only makes sense that it gets its own unique wood variant. Now I guess the question is, what type of wood variant would it be? I guess like a green one could work, or like a pale sort of pink, a bit like cherry could also work. Now this is not the only tree variant which has an inconsistency. This is the swamp oak tree. Obviously it's called the swamp oak tree, it's got oak leaves on it, and it's got oak logs, but I feel like this is such an outdated tree design. Especially as this tree variant was added to Minecraft when swamps were added over 10 years ago. And I feel like as it's such an outdated tree design, it really deserves its own wood variant. Now what would be cool is like a willow tree. However, I feel like something already in Minecraft could be a lot easier. As personally, I'd be quite interested to see it turn into mangrove trees, as it makes sense. Mangrove does spawn in swampy biomes, as it's got its own mangrove swamp biome. Plus, it's a real pain to get. For example, if I get a propagule and bone meal it, we'll create ourselves a mangrove tree. However, getting rid of all of these leaves, you can see that there are barely any logs. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and look how many leaves you have to break through for a 13th. Like, these are such annoying trees to chop down because the logs are all placed in such sporadic areas. I feel like a tree like this, maybe changing the leaves out to mangrove as well. Maybe you couldn't get a sapling for it or anything, but just having the oak swamp trees spawn with mangrove logs instead would be a lot nicer, as then it gives you more of a reason to travel to a regular swamp biome, as then you're able to chop down these trees to get one of the best types of wood in the game, the mangrove log. Now here's another quick question. What do all of these blocks have in common? The quartz, stone, and the polished stone materials? Well, none of them have wall variants, which is pretty strange, as something like red sandstone, prismarine, red nether brick, endstone, and resin all have wall variants. However, stone doesn't. You know, the most common block in Minecraft, where a wall variant would be really easy to get and would be really useful for building. This begins to make less sense when we look at granite, andesite, and diorite, as granite has a wall variant, diorite has a wall variant, and as does andesite, but we don't have the polished wall variants, which makes even less sense when you look at a polished deep slate wall, a polished tuff wall, as well as polished blackstone walls. These all have polished wall variants, so why doesn't andesite, diorite, and granite? Which is why it's a good job mods exist, as the mod Trailer Tales adds in the polished diorite, andesite, and granite walls, and once again, just taking a look at them, they look so good, and I'm really surprised they're not in Minecraft, because we've got the other polished wall variants, so we need these as well. And don't even get me started on all like the brick variants and things. I've talked in depth in previous videos about how much I want like andesite bricks and things, so we're not going to get into it today, but these 3 block variants really need new block variants essentially. And then we can also take a look at quartz and stone walls, which also, why aren't these in the game? Like, a stone wall is such a simple block, but it would be so good in Minecraft, and it would help like just building in general, but also like for caves and things. Like, you could do really cool like stalactites and stalagmites with these stone walls. And also, I feel like quartz deserves a wall, as things like sandstone, that has a wall variant, prismarine has wall variants, so why doesn't quartz? But it's not just those stone variants which have issues with a different block variant, it's also mud, as right now mud has a packed and a brick variant. However, I feel like it would be cool to get a cracked brick, chiseled, as well as mossy mud bricks. These are all from the Wild of Wild mod, and it just shows how much we need these in the game. As I feel like mud is such a used block for building anyway. It would just be nice to get some more variations, such as the cracked, the chiseled, and the mossy. The chiseled especially, as I'd really like a little slime face design on a chiseled block. Now obviously all wood variants have their own plank variants. We've got oak planks here, acacia, and bamboo. However, bamboo has its own unique block called the bamboo mosaic. Now, would this be a good block to get for the other wood variants? Well, I don't see why not, because it would be a fun thing to build with, like some acacia mosaics or some pale oak mosaics or something like that. But honestly, I've seen a few comments on my previous consistency video. I don't know if we necessarily need them, as, to be honest, whilst it's a cool block, I don't think I've ever built with these bamboo mosaic blocks. Anytime I go to use it, I'd much rather use these bamboo planks instead. So I don't feel like it would be that useful for the other block variants. Additionally, I feel like sometimes inconsistency isn't a bad thing. For example, with bamboo, it's nice that it has its own unique block variant. Same way it's got its own unique way of growing, and same way it's got a raft instead of a boat. This is similar with mangrove, as mangrove gets a root and a propagule rather than a sapling. And would it make sense to have oak roots, dark oak roots, spruce roots, and things like that? Whilst it'd be cool to get, I don't think we'll get them, as this is sort of unique to mangrove, as is the propagule. But don't get me wrong, I'd still be happy to see those things added to Minecraft, especially as I would be quite interested to see like a birch mosaic or a cherry mosaic or something. I just don't think they'd necessarily get added. as it's not necessarily an inconsistency, as some wood types just have their own unique things, such as the Netherwoods not having boats, which I personally think is a bit more of an annoyance as it makes traversing the Nether a bit more difficult. I'd happily have the Crimson and Warped boats added, even if they burn in lava, just so it makes traversing the Nether, like getting down from heights and things, a lot easier. Additionally, I've got a bit of an idea for bamboo, as there are two types, and we're currently lacking a green wood. Obviously, this is the stripped variant, which looks identical to the planks, so I'd honestly like to see a green plank variant instead, made from this green block. So you put this in the crafting table, and it creates green planks, then you have to strip it to get these stripped planks, which I know technically it doesn't make sense as oak logs turn into these planks based on the log texture. However, if you sort of look at the top of both bamboo blocks, this is all green, this is all yellow, so I think it would be cool to get like a green plank set, and without even adding a new tree, I think bamboo would be a good way to get some. Alternatively, we could get the green wood from cactus, from the cactus items mod. I just thought this was worth pointing out. It's not necessarily an inconsistency at all, but it would be cool to get a green wood in the game, and I feel like bamboo or cactus is a good option. Another inconsistency Minecraft has is with jungle trees. As if we take a look on the Minecraft wiki, you can see that jungle leaves have a 2.5% chance to drop a sapling, whereas azalea and other saplings have a 5%. So, for some inconsistent reason, jungle saplings drop a lot less from jungle leaves than any other sapling. Now, this is probably due to jungle trees having a load of leaves, so when you chop it down, it should be a bit rarer to get the leaves. Otherwise, you're getting almost too many saplings. However, I could accept if that was the case, as at the time, that was the only big tree in Minecraft, these giant jungle trees. However, now in Minecraft, we've got these giant spruce trees, and we've also got dark oak and pale oak, which have a lot of leaves as well. Maybe not as many as the jungle leaves, but they've still got a lot. So I feel like this is just another inconsistency in Minecraft, which has just gone unnoticed for the past 10 or so years. Just like this other inconsistency, as oak trees have a chance of dropping apples from their leaves. That's a massive oak tree. Dark oak trees also have a chance of dropping apples. However, pale oak do not have a chance of dropping apples when grown, which is a bit odd as they are all oak variants. However, I also do somewhat understand the point, as this is sort of more of a dead tree, so I guess it wouldn't drop apples because it's dead and doesn't grow fruit. Although, that would be a good opportunity to get like a rotten apple or something like that added into the game. Now, another slight annoyance with oak and dark oak is the leaves. Which one is which? It's almost impossible to tell. I think this one is dark oak. No, that's oak. So this is dark oak. See, that actually confused me. This is what oak looks like, this is what dark oak look like. They're pretty much identical. So it'd be cool if dark oak got some darker coloured leaves, as it sort of does just make sense, as it is dark oak. But there we go, there were some more inconsistencies in Minecraft. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to subscribe and let me know any other inconsistencies, and I may include them in another video.